Okay, CGB. There is a card type in Hearthstone called the location. I've shown you a couple of them before. You probably don't remember a single one. That's fantastic for this video because there's only a certain amount of them. So I'm really hoping you don't remember any one of these. Rather than doing some fun game today, it's very simple. You're going to tell me if you think they're good or not.
Okay. Simple.
Now,
do people play these locations like on ladder and tournaments?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
This location, it's 4 mana. From your hand, you would play it. It would occupy 1 out of the 7 spaces on the board. It has its text, which was the effect it will do. And then it has a durability in the bottom right. Every time you click on this location, it will lose a durability, meaning you can use this one 3 different times. There's one caveat to this. You can only activate it once per turn, and you can only activate it once every other turn. So for instance, if I play this on turn 4, I will not be able, and I use it on turn 4, I will not be able to use it until turn 6.
Yep. Okay.
Any questions?
Okay.
Just we're on the same page.
Yeah. How common is it to remove a location?
I would say if there's a location that is really good, you might consider running the tech for it. But I would relate it to like a weapon, for instance, in Hearthstone, where it's like if a weapon is that prominent and you're going against it a ton, you could tech in weapon destruction if you want to deal with it.
Forbidden Shrine is 1 mana. It has 3 durability, you said?
Yep.
Durability? All right.
Yep.
Spend all your mana, cast a random spell that costs that much. What? Spend all your mana. Okay. So if you put this down on 1 and then activate it, you get something that costs 0. That's probably
you would get a spell that costs 0.
Great. I don't know. Is that great? Are there bad 0 spells? I'm thinking, is it preparation like 0 or something?
Preparation is 0. So is Shadow Step. You don't get to pick the target for Shadow Step, but that does exist.
Does it cast the spell at random, like with random targets?
Yes. It would.
Oh, okay.
So like you could treat this like Yogg, which I showed you like way back in the day, but I'm sure you remember it, where it like,
yes,
it would cast the spell and then out of all legal available targets would decide what it's going to hit.
And then if this is still on the battlefield when you have 10 mana crystals and you spend 1 of its durability, then you go from 10 to nothing, but you get a random 10 cost spell.
Yes.
If you do this for 8, you cast Wheel of Death every time, right?
Yes.
That's how it works?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, I remember this. And minions aren't spells.
Minions are not spells.
So the question is, like, so this is like 1 mana crystal, and in theory, it's like a draw 3, but they're random and they scale according to your curve.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. A 1 mana draw 3 in Magic would be kind of busted. The question is, like, how good is it to spend all of your mana on a random spell that you can't even control the targets of? So you could like fireball your own thing, right? Could you fireball your own face?
Yes, because that would be a legal target.
Jesus, that's not good. Okay.
Yeah. You really got to think about the mana cost here and what spells are available in the current pool.
Oh no. I hate that because every time I think of exactly what I want, I'm sure I'd never get it.
That's fair. Like, for instance, by the way, like if you're curious, I'll give you like kind of more of a curated list. So you have kind of a concept here. I'm not obviously showing you every mana cost, but 8 is pretty reasonable here. So like, here's all the 8 cost spells. Like if you want like a kind of idea in standard, like what you're going to get.
Oh, okay, cool. So it is like, it's like 9 of them. Yeah. I mean, you can 10 of them. You can figure out what to expect. I remember some of these. Wheel of Death, of course. We got Yogg in a box. Let's go. All right. I mean, Black Hole seems pretty cool. So when you line this up with like those higher totals, it becomes a lot more interesting because you're probably going to hit something powerful. And it is like you don't have to have those values, those mana values in your deck clunking up your hand in the early game, ruining your mulligans. You can have this instead. In theory, it's stay alive, and then you have more powerful spells in your deck, and you have multiples of them. You have a 9, you have a 10, and you have a 10. Like, just popping this off. If you can just stay alive. I like this card. Dude, 3 cards, and they might just be bonkers in the late game, and you just have an emergency thing to touch if you don't have anything good to do for your turn that helps your situation, that might help you. As long as you get up to where you're casting these things and you don't accidentally fireball your face, I think this card is good. And you're gonna, God, if you tell me it's unplayable, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's because nobody has 8 or 9 mana crystals anymore. They're just dead. Is this a new card? This is like current standard?
This is current standard.
Oh, well, I mean, hold on. Like, isn't everybody just dead already? Is that what I'm
No.
say?
I would say, So when you did the video a while ago that was rating like the old gods or the wild gods, sorry, like the metagame was really fast because StarCraft was pretty broken. I would say in this current point, almost any deck could like probably exist at this point. They've done a good job so far of making sure the balance isn't like super whack.
Okay, then let's play Forbidden Shrine, dude. Let's put this out early and then use it late. Let's fill in our curve. Like, I think this card is sweet. I want this card to be good. I'm gonna start with a yes, good card.
I hate to say this to you.
No, you don't. You love this. This is why you do this. I know, and you even know how to trap me too. It's like, oh, the value. Look at the value, CGB. You're gonna have so much fun.
So
go ahead, say
I'm gonna do the SEMO approach here. I'm gonna start with I'm gonna take you down a story here. This card, in theory, is really cool, right? It is like exactly what you described. 1 mana, draw 3. You just have to use all your mana to actually use the spell that you're drawing, in theory. The cool thing is, especially if you get to 9, if you 50-50 the Nebula, because I did show you, I didn't even know this was the only 2 options. Now I might actually go try this out and see if I can high roll it. Nebula is a very good card. Like that card is just disgusting. And even though I don't necessarily want to pay 9 mana for it, there's probably better ways than Shaman to cast it. Like that's still really good if you needed like something huge to happen immediately for you. The other great thing about this is you can play this early and then keep it on your board. And then if you need to be desperate for hopefully like a brawl on 5, and that's your only way out, this could be the out that you needed, right? The issue is almost every single point in the game, you probably have cards you want to play more than this. Almost every single point of the game. I'm talking like really niche circumstances where I'm praying that brawl hits. And unfortunately for Forbidden Shrine, it only has a 44% win rate.
Nice.
I'm really glad we started
off to
that
a good
one.
start. I want to go play non-minion mage, please. That's my deck now. I choose this as my champion. Forge of Wills. The 3-cost location with 2 durability, so you only get to use it twice. Choose a friendly minion, summon a giant with its stats, and rush. Oh.
Yeah, so I will say for the giant, it is a textless minion. It just has rush. Like it's a big meatball that can attack immediately.
This is interesting. It's pure stats and they can hit things right away. The 2 durability is a little concerning, but I guess 2 uses is pretty good. If this were a magic card, let me think. It would be pretty good. There are clone effects that do a lot worse that see play in magic. I don't know. I love the idea of just copying a really solid a minion with like really good stats and then having 2 of them, but the fact that it doesn't get like taunt if the minion has taunt is a pretty big downside. It does come with rush, so I guess you're handing something rush that wouldn't normally have rush, so you're not falling behind. What class is this?
This is Warlock.
I've given myself a lot of reasons to like it, but it's also still just very much not my card. But the idea of like copying something and getting to hit something and getting double out of it right away does sound really good. It sounds really good. I think in Magic it would be a really good card. I'm gonna say this is I'm gonna say the stats is. Because then taking turn 3 off isn't the worst, right? If you play it early, it's not the worst. And if you play it later and you already have something good down, you have immediate board impact. Yeah, I'm gonna say this card is playable.
Okay, so Forge of Wills. It sounded like you were gonna go with it was really, really bad, but let me give you the kind of the game pattern here for this card. You put this out on 3, and kind of like how you're thinking with older classic, this card existed, which I will show it to you.
Dark Alley Pact, summon a fiend with taunt and stats equal to your hand size.
So you were able to go Forge of Wills into Dark Alley Pact. With the Dark Alley Pact, because you don't spend mana after the location's already in play, you copy this big statted minion that also fights for the board, and all of a sudden you have 2 ginormous minions on the board on turn 4, which we do make fun of big meatballs, but that early in the game is actually extremely relevant. So Forge of Wills was a pretty impactful card for Warlock. It was arguably one of the best cards from Titans, and it remained really, really good throughout its time until it was nerfed because it was so good. It went to 4 mana. And then after it rotated, it went back to what it is right now. But the card was absolutely disgusting, and it would win you games if you had that perfect curve, pretty much.
I don't know a ton about Hearthstone, but I do know when it's turn 4 and you're looking at 2 big things instead of 1 big thing, it's a huge difference. Yes,
no, really, really good. The fact you also got it again on turn 5, which meant if you had a second Dark Alley Pact, you're like only hammering it even harder. Like it was a very, very good card. Very, very good card. Okay. Damn, I really wanted you to say it was bad. I was praying there. I was like, please.
No thumbnail from me, not today.
I already got rid of the first one. The first one's perfect.
Shut up. It's basically Ancestral Recall. Put that in. Okay. Puppet Theater is a 4-cost location with 2 durability that says choose an enemy minion, get a 1/1 copy of it that costs 1. So that goes in your hand.
Yep.
Choose an enemy minion. Oh. So something with a sick battle cry, something with a really cool death rattle, something with just an irreplaceable, like, awesome ability that your opponent plays, because your opponent's going to play good stuff because they're not a scrub and you're not in, like, whatever your bronze is. You're probably your high legendary gamers, right? They're going to have sick minions, of course. And you're going to get a copy of that. You can just leave this on the board, and from now on, the rest of the game, they're like, oh, do I play this? They're going to get a copy of, like, all of the cool battle cries I have. What do I do? Oh no. I'm sure that there are some really cool things you can do with this, but this reeks of like a Timmy inconsistency card. Like you can draw up all the great charts of how you're going to do something amazing, but I don't see it.
Let me just paint the picture here. Reminder, you could put this on the board and have it sit there. So yeah, your opponent could still play the minion, but you've already banked the 4 mana earlier. So you're just clicking a button, taking the minion, getting the same minion for 1 cost, right? Obviously, if you're playing specifically for stats, this is miserable. But if my opponent drops a battle cry that is insanely powerful for 10 mana and I get it for 1, that's really good because I didn't have to pay the 4 mana immediately, right? It's already on the board.
Oh yeah.
So, okay.
So, I mean, you are exactly drawing up your little Timmy plan. You are falling right into the trap, Rarran. You want to make a thumbnail out of, look what I did with Puppet Theater today. I get it. I'm a content creator too. We got to get them clicks. But come on, man. Like competitive play, surely people like can deal. Or, man, that's the other thing. If this gets meta, like can you play around this? You probably can. If you bank 4 and play this early and the opponent just like plays a bunch of little zergs, like what are you doing? Nope. Puppet Theater. Nope. You're not getting me. Nope. Timmy card. Terrible. Unplayable. Like 30% win rate. Easy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So Puppet Theater is a weird one because generally speaking, it's not like it's a horrible card. It's just very contextual to what the game actually is. You're entirely right. This card is useless if you go against an aggro deck because you don't care.
I set myself up for pain. What?
But this card's really good if you're going against a control deck or any late game deck that wants to drop a bomb. I've shown you cards like Ceaseless Expanse before, which is just, in theory, 0 mana, destroy the whole board, and you get a 10/10. I don't mind having a 0 mana 1/1 that destroys the board. That's pretty good. I wouldn't mind getting a really good minion from my opponent either that only has a battle cry that I want, and they spent 9 mana, and now all of a sudden I've spent 1, and I still get another charge. In theory, this card is very wishy-washy, right? It's either like really good or really bad. I wouldn't call this card a 30% win rate card for the record. I would put it towards more like 48%. Because most
48%.
of most of the time you're gonna have this in your deck, it's probably gonna just be okay. This card's not. You wouldn't think this card's playable in Magic? Oh, I guess standard Magic is just.
It's what, you have a 1/1? Oh my gosh,
it's an
unbelievable.
Well, see, it's even more interesting in Magic, no, because you at least get the block. Let's not talk about standard Magic here for a second because that's an absolute wild west. What about Commander?
Sure.
What about Commander?
Okay, let's talk about Commander.
Is card playable in Commander? If it interacted the exact same way as it did in Hearthstone, because you could still translate it over.
So you get 2 uses of it, and it draws a 1/1 copy of someone else's thing for 1. I could see some people trying to play it. I feel like there's cards that just copy an opponent's thing for 2. So
okay,
that
so
seems a bit better to me.
Interesting. Yeah, Hearthstone doesn't really have. Okay, so I will say this, by the way, this card is very intimidating if it's on board and you know you have to play into it. There's like a new arena mode that just came out, and your opponent having this on board means like you are probably going to lose the game because like it's so hard to come back from the tempo loss that they're going to get from this. But yeah, in standard, around 48%. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Not a horrible card, but I wouldn't call it like an amazing card either. Okay.
So you're saying I'm right at the end of the day.
I'll give you the point.
All right. Thank you. Just got to be clear. Construct quarter. The heck? There's some Dr. Frankenstein stuff going on.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, 3 mana and a 3 durability location. Destroy a friendly minion to summon a 4/5 undead with rush. Oh no. Okay, what class is this?
Death Knight.
Damn it, I almost said Death Knight. I was like, I'm gonna be wrong. This is not a class video. I don't have to do this. It's not in the contract. Okay.
It's not a contract.
I mean, so you put something out with a death rattle that's very cheap, and then you blow that thing up, turn it into a 4/5 undead, get your death rattle, and you hit with rush. Seems good. Actually, seems like a huge upgrade on turn 3 if you're just playing a little Death Knight on 1 and or a cool death rattle card on 2, right? Like, I mean, that seems to go right in your death rattle deck. I imagine 3 for a 4/5 is not bad, plus triggering whatever the value death rattle is. There's probably other uses to it. Like, there's in all kinds of various formats of Magic, there are payoffs for being able to like kill your own thing at the time you want it to die. Okay. So yeah. I'm guessing just having this on the board and having that up your sleeve for a death rattle that costs like 7, you know, that you want to trigger the turn that you play it and just go absolutely off with a card like this. I think this card is good. I'm immediately like, yeah, I can think of a lot of uses for this card, and probably several I'm not thinking of. So I could rack my brain trying to find them, but I don't think you're going to convince me this is bad. So I'm just going to say this is good.
I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. This card's insane. In this form, this card is broken. You're also just not even considering having the ability to go like Death Rattle minion or just any minion on the board on turn 2, play this on turn 3, attack with that minion, summon a 4/5 with rush, and then gets to attack as well, like into another opponent's minion, is disgusting. Like, that amount of tempo is insane. And then you get to do it 2 more times for 3 mana is, I mean, without putting it bluntly, it actually broke the game. Like, it was meta defining. Like, this was the best card in the game at a current point. It was, I don't even know why they printed in this state. Everyone had the same reaction as you did, by the way. When we saw the card, we're like, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they printing this? So they nerfed it.
Before I even like look at the nerf version, I'm like, maybe they could make it like a 2/2 undead with rush. You know, like look how much you could shave so much stats off of this, and it would still be good. Like, I would still look at it.
100% agree here. 100% agree. So they nerfed it. It went to a 4 mana card. Do you think the card is still as good?
Doesn't sound bad. It's not as good, of course, but like I think you'd still play it for 4. I think so. Still 3 on the durability.
Still 3 on the durability.
I mean, obviously a 4/5 on 3 is a big deal. Like, that jump is a big deal, but that still sounds playable to me. It does.
You'd be absolutely correct. They nerfed it again.
Okay, is it 5?
They made it to 2 durability. At that point, it was still very good. Like, it was still good. But not like obscenely broken anymore. This card,
the Fairy Tale Forest. How cute. Who just leaves all their stuff outside?
I think it's like
what? Wait, is this outside?
No. So I'll give you the theme for this expansion. This was called Whizbang's Workshop, which was a celebration of like the past 10 years of Hearthstone. And it's a toy shop. So everything you see in this set is a part of that toy shop. And I'm guessing this is some like mystical forest, spooky vibes.
Okay, so the forest is a toy. It's like like a dollhouse. It's not actually a forest.
Yeah, it's not like you're not walking.
Trees are decorations. Everything's a lie, dude. Everything's a lie. Like, what is this? Capitalism.
You're not wrong.
Taking over our fairy tales. Okay. 2 durability. Draw a battlecry minion. It costs 1 less. I mean, what class is this?
Shaman.
This is a form of ramp. Kind of, a little bit, but you don't know quite what you're gonna draw. I guess you do if you build your deck a certain way. You can build your deck a certain way so you're hitting the thing with the busted battle cry, right? It's from your deck, right? It says draw.
From your deck,
so you have building control over this. Oh, God. All right. So all it takes in the format is the one crazy battle cry minion, and you make sure you always have 2 of them potentially, and that they cost 1 less. There's gotta be, there doesn't have to be, but there's a good chance at some point there is probably a line for that. There's gotta be something that you can do that's a little degenerate. Maybe it hasn't been printed yet. This might be a like, check in with me and I'll be right in a year. Especially, gosh, yeah, like say you have 2 of them and say they're particularly disgusting together. If you get 2 of this effect, like the game just ends or something, boom, boom, bye, see ya. Maybe it's turn 6 and you're dead or something. I don't know. I don't like tutors in Magic when they become too easy with the right cards are just, that's where things start to break. Right now, tutors in Standard are totally fine. There's a couple of them. They're totally fine because nobody has time for them because you're dead on turn 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But in Hearthstone, that seems like a bit more problematic, especially with no instant speed interaction in Hearthstone. That's where, like, if you just tutor up and you have the win in your hand and you just play it, it feels anticlimactic and bad. I'm going to say, I mean, maybe not now. It depends. I can't wait to see the card that you're going to tell me that this is great with. I imagine it's also just fine in a Battlecry deck, but I think there's also something busted either now or in the future for this. I'm going to say this is a good card.
Okay, so you can probably imagine from the amount of videos we've done, I've shown you a lot of Battlecry cards. And there has never really been a card that draws Battlecry minions like this and discounts them. So this is like a really unique thing. And obviously it's over 2 turns. It's considered like a slow card if you think about it, but because you're getting that mana back, it ends up being really good. And it's funny how like weirdly close you are with like how broken strategies could be with this, because all you really need to do is find the correct minions and all of a sudden the game's pretty much over. And if I'm putting specific Battlecry minions in my deck, I can do some really gross stuff. So read this card.
Hagatha the Fabled. Yeah. Okay. That's a look. 4 mana for a 4/3 Battlecry. Draw 2 spells that cost 5 or more. Transform them into slimes that cast the spells.
Yes. So I'm going to walk you through this. You play Fairy Tale Forest, you draw your Hagatha. Even though it gets the mana reduction, you don't really care. You're probably playing it exactly the turn after. It being 4 is like, if it costs 4, it would be the exact same strategy here. Those draw you 2 spells that cost 5 or more. I just showed you a little bit earlier with the very first card here with Nebula. So that's a Shaman card. What you get is a 9 mana 9/9 slime with the Battlecry to play Nebula. And that's...
What?
Kind of cool, right? Because rather than casting a spell, you're playing a minion that does cast the spell. So that sounds fun. I mean, that's good. There's also this. I mean, it's all going to cascade here, so hold on.
Okay. Shutter block. I've seen this somehow, somewhere.
I think I've shown you this card before.
Okay, yeah. 6 for a 5/5 with miniaturized Battlecry. Your next Battlecry triggers 3 times. Yeah. Okay.
So
but it can't damage the enemy hero. That's pretty good.
You're playing this card specifically almost for the tutor, right? So now, like, imagine these are the only 2 Battlecry minions in your deck, right? Then all of a sudden you have both. If you get Fairy Tale Forest, and all of a sudden you're going to be doing some disgusting things on turn 9. There's also this.
Murmur. A 7 for a 6/6 elemental. Your Battlecry minions cost 1, but immediately die. Okay.
So if you ended up drawing Murmur with this entire strategy, the game was over. Like, there is nothing your opponent could do to really stop you from just winning the game at that point. And this was a very good strategy. Fairy Tale Forest currently isn't great because Shaman's not that great. But when that deck was playable, when any form of Shaman's playable, this card's pretty much added into the game.
This looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! This looks like I
It
special
was
summon, this thing dies, I
stupid.
tutor this thing, I get this thing, I do this thing that gets this thing. This looks Yu-Gi-Oh! To me.
Fairy Tale Forest will probably see play throughout its entire time in Standard. I would be shocked if it didn't. Like, almost every Shaman deck wants it because Shaman lacks a lot of draw as well. So it's like an extra 2 draws. Fantastic.
The Crystal Cove. Look at this. Look, they have a kiddie pool.
That's from the same set, for the record.
You know what? I mean, I hate to say it, but my first thought is the hot tub meta on Twitch.
So I'll give you some lore here.
To say it.
I'll give you some lore here. I showed you the Angora quest at some point, I'm pretty sure. I definitely showed you the Crystal Cavern, I believe it's called, which was the rogue quest. And that set all your minions to 5/5. So that's what this is playing on. That's what that whole thing.
I promise I'll read the card soon. I'm just also picturing like SpongeBob could be right there.
You're fine. It's
SpongeBob
funny.
could just be chilling in this art.
So before we get into this, let me ask you a question, because you guys are actually kind of dealing with this in Magic.
Yeah.
Hearthstone during this set, people were actually not a huge fan of it because the theme of it felt really un-Warcrafty. Like, it felt so out of place compared to a lot of other sets we've had in the past and going forward.
Okay.
Do you think that people do you think that that is completely fine to have like I'm not going to call it like a homage to like your entire 10 years of Hearthstone in a set where it's like super wacky and just looking back on it? Like, do you think that fits the theme of the game, or would you rather have like a more serious theme?
I'm going to go with the latter. Not close for me. I think if you're going to dedicate something to like your 10th anniversary, you want it to scratch the itch of the players who have been with you for the ride. 100%. And I don't think there should be any, to me, that's not even a question. That's not even a question. It's about the fans to me. Like Magic. But this, I also went through this in Magic because like you said, Magic has been through this too. So we had 5 sets in a row of homages to other genres and things that didn't feel like Magic. And it just exhausted everybody. Literally, exhaust was a mechanic in Aether Drift, which was the most like... most hated of these homage like death races sets. Like people got so sick of detectives and cowboys in their game that by the time Aether Drift came out with race cars, everybody was like, this sucks, just give us Magic the Gathering. And you know what set was the most loved from that period of time? I would say Bloomburrow's the most loved, and that is kind of a different homage that still felt fantasy. But Foundations, everybody was really excited about Foundations because it was Magic cards that felt like Magic cards. So I think that Magic totally wore that side of the audience out. So I'm coming from that place. So having been through that, to me, it's not a question. Like I look at this and it doesn't look like Hearthstone. It looks ridiculous, like a toy shop, you know? Like this looks, you know, I see this and I think of many things. All right. I think of inflatable bananas. I think of Bikini Bottom. I think of cartoons. I also think of that Christmas store in Home Alone 2, where just like, it's like fair. A million things that just seem like decoration, but not toys. But it seems like it's for little kids. And it just doesn't, it doesn't feel Warcraft to me. Do you know how many people, like I've been telling my sister who played Magic, but never played, and she played Warcraft, but she never played Hearthstone. I've been telling her to get her kids to try Hearthstone. She's like, is this related to Warcraft? I didn't even know that. Like, I tried it. I didn't even think a single thing felt Warcraft to me. I'm like,
when did she try it? Was it recent?
This year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I know we're going off like a little bit of a side tangent here, but this past year, I'll say specifically, was kind of like interesting because it was Whizbang's Workshop, which was like a toy store. And then they did Perils in Paradise, which was like a vacation, which again followed the kind of same non-Warcrafty vibes. Like it just didn't feel like it was like related to like the rest of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the last that they did was the space theme. And I think people like the space theme a little bit more because Dre and I were a part of it, which is a Warcraft race, and people kind of like that a little bit more. It felt more serious, but there was constant posts on Reddit and people complaining about the fact that they just didn't like the art style for the past couple expansions before Great Dark Beyond. And I think if you show, like you said, if you showed someone who's never played this game before and you said it was related to Warcraft during Perils and Whizbang, it would be like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Now, the argument against it is Hearthstone dropped the Heroes of Warcraft tag quite a while ago at this point. So they're kind of more willing to do, I'm going to say, flavorful expansions as long as it encompasses like an entire concept for each expansion. Not if you look at the great picture of what Hearthstone is, obviously Whizbang Workshop makes literally no fucking sense. But during this one expansion, it makes sense, right? Because it's like they developed the whole set for it. It just gets a little weird when you're like, oh, my toy's going up against Grommash Hellscream. That's kind of interesting. But
yeah, who's gonna win?
I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm indifferent. I really don't care. As long as the game is fun, that's what matters to me more. And you guys are going through maybe the worst section of it because now you're going into like the, what is it, Universes Beyond?
Yes.
So now it's even weirder for you guys, especially with Final Fantasy being standard, right? Like now you're going with like, what the fuck? But here's the counter argument to me. I want to hear your thoughts before we continue going into, so you're going to have to read this card at some point. Magic the Gathering, regardless if it's not a Magic the Gathering like set, does their art style in a very particular way that feels like these sets are still a part of the Magic universe. Would you agree with that?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Yep. When they stretch really far, you feel it. So I do agree that they have a style, and a Magic card still looks like a Magic card. The Universes Beyond set definitely have their own style, and some of them I like more than others, but I agree with you 90%.
Okay, because I feel like it'd be a lot more people would be upset about it if the art style was following like the actual game itself. So when they did Final Fantasy, right? If it followed a different art style completely out of the Magic the Gathering realm, I feel like people would be like, what the hell are we doing here, guys? As far as I'm aware and everything you've shown me, I think the Magic team does a pretty good job trying to like integrate those universes into the game, even though that they may not be Warcrafty characters or Magic the Gathering characters. It's kind of interesting. Cool idea. I think maybe Hearthstone took some inspiration from Magic, by the way, with this whole concept.
Does Hearthstone have alt arts? Because that's the other thing in Magic is like you can go get the alt art that goes crazy, as you've seen. Like we have alt arts that go way in a ton of different directions. It feels like if Hearthstone wanted to sell alt arts, that doesn't sound like a bad idea for the people who like that kind of thing.
So Hearthstone does have alt arts. They actually have like multiple different types. There's the normal card that you see. There's the golden one, which is the same thing, but it has an animation now. There is a signature card, and the signature cards are designed to be a part of the set. So hold on, let me give you an actual example here. I know we're going completely off tangent.
No, we're doing fine. The further I can get away from having to rate this card, the better.
Okay, hold on.
Fine.
This is this is a card that I am a huge fan of the new set. This is Yogg-saron, right? You don't have to actually, you don't have to rate her or anything like that, but that's okay. Yogg-saron. This is the signature.
Must be it's a Timmy card if Rarran likes it that much. Clearly.
This is the signature for it. This is the side-by-side comparison.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
I actually this is my opinion. I actually really like the signature art for Yogg-saron. Here's my problem though. In Magic the Gathering, for every alt art you guys have, the thing that remains consistent amongst every single one is that they're always going to be on a rectangular card that looks symmetrical to everything else. Even if the art style is completely different and maybe they switch the front a little bit for whatever they're doing, at least the card is still symmetrical with every other Magic the Gathering card. You'll notice on this card, if you look at the signature card and I asked you, what does this card do without seeing the part on the left? You couldn't answer that question.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Hearthstone, this is my fundamental issue with it. Hearthstone is designed as a game, at least like in the early parts of it, to be very easily digestible from looking at it at a glance. Like if I looked at it for 5 seconds, I would be able to understand almost everything on the screen, because Hearthstone does a really good job of showing you what each card does, like at a glance. Obviously, signature cards now cause this weird problem of like, if you don't know what that card is and you're clicking on a stream for the first time, you're gonna be a little confused, and it kind of makes it annoying to run as a streamer. Obviously, if you're someone who's not a streamer, you don't care, you just love the card, it is what it is. But that's where like my problem with these cards come through. Also, they're fucking expensive, but and you don't get a physical copy. But I mean, that's if Blizzard would rather put more resources into signature cards and they make them money, I'm completely fine with that, because they've done a really good job with like providing more and more cards to the average player. So completely fine. Where you guys at least have like your golden chocobos look like a Magic card, and they're worth $30 bajillion.
And every card has all the text on it that explains the card perfectly. Exactly.
Yes,
of course.
Okay, that was a side tangent. Sorry, go back to the Crystal Cove.
The Crystal Cove, the next minion you summon this turn, has its stats set to 5/5. This can be used 3 times. Yep, that's probably a combo with something that, I don't know. I mean, maybe something as simple as something with lifesteal, but maybe as good as something where you just play something for 1 with a really cool battle crier ability, or that does something equal to its power or toughness, and now it's a 5/5. This one is a bit more conditional though. It does require you to build a deck in a certain way. The pieces have to be just right. You have to have this ready on the board. But as we've covered, like taking turn 3 off isn't that big of a deal. I'm guessing there's some fun combos with this, but without seeing the cards, I'm not sure that they're game breaking. These are usually the types of things that create a like niche or meme deck, but not necessarily a breakthrough deck. So I'm going to go with this card is, I mean, I can picture how it's good in some decks, but like I would say at high levels of competitive play, not so much.
I think that's a good answer. I'm trying to think if like I would argue with it at all. I don't think so. So you're right. The thing about Crystal Cove is really interesting because in Rogue, you're playing for tempo. Unlike other classes, Rogue really wants to play for tempo. And if you're putting this in your deck, you're probably playing a deck that wants to fight for board. But the good news is that this card exists.
What? Now, come on. Like, we just had this whole conversation and you show me a card named Water Cannon and I'm supposed to use this to defeat the Orcs or the Alliance? I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to backtrack to our rant, Rarran, but you literally busted out the Water Cannon, buddy. Okay.
Listen, I'm just trying to...
that's fine. I'll bring a Water Cannon to our next Commander game.
Holy shit, please. Please.
Just gonna pull that out at the table and spray you in the face. And
please, please.
Like that 5 damage. Let's go. Oh my God. Did you plan this? This is the dumbest thing of the day. Okay,
no,
this video has gone in a whole direction. All right.
Well, you just kept bringing up the art, right? So it's interesting to hear, like, especially from an outsider, how you interact with it. It's just funny.
4 mana crystals for. Look at the stats on this. I'm picturing a Nerf gun. What the hell are we doing? It's a 3. It has a 3 attack, like a weapon, and it's. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a weapon.
This is the weapon.
Of course.
Yep.
I'm no longer looking at locations. This is a weapon. 3 attack, 3 durability. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 pirate that attacks a random enemy. How does a water cannon summon a pirate?
Look at the art for the water slider, by the way, please.
It's shooting a water balloon.
Go down. Let's read
Okay, water slider. It's riding a rubber ducky. Patches is rolling in his grave at what's become of his people.
Holy fuck, that's so funny.
It's on a water slide. What are we doing?
All right, let me go past this. Let me go past this before it's too late for this guy.
I've owned many water guns. None has ever brought a pirate after I fire it. Not a single one.
Okay, here's your next card.
Oh, we gotta escape from this Whiz-Bang's toy shop. It's rants for days. Oh no. Dangerous Cliffside. That is 4 mana, 3 durability, and it says summon 2 1/1 pirates with charge. After your hero attacks, reopen this. Ooh, okay. What class are we?
This is Demon Hunter.
Demon Hunter. Are they good at weapons and like what's their hero power?
1 mana, give your hero 1 attack. Sure.
Oh, well, yeah, cool. That's nice. That's built right in. You don't have to think about your deck building this way. That's great. So you play this, you get 2 1/1s with charge. You attack with your hero, you get 2 more. So right away, you can have 4 1/1s with charge. There's a lot of ways to use a big board. There's a lot of ways to use a lot of bodies. And there's probably things that help pirates specifically. So pirate go wide deck is kind of interesting. 4 is a lot. Like if you don't have a weapon equipped and you're using your hero power, like, and you're doing this on 5, is getting 4 1/1s with charge enough? I mean, there is the idea of somehow comboing it with a weapon that lets you attack twice in 1 turn so that you get all 6. I mean, then you have a big board that dies to a very simple clear that does 1 damage to everything or something like that. But if you have ways to buff it all, like my combo ears are ringing, but the 4 and the curve doesn't sound right. It sounds pricey.
Okay. Reminder, I'll give you a little hint here. You can equip a weapon so that when you play this on 4, you can hit it, or you can activate this location, get 2 extra damage, swing your weapon, and then also get 2 extra damage, 2 more extra damage. That are both pirates, which, you know, pirates have had some synergy over the years.
So they have. Now they're just riding around in water cannons, apparently. So it's like, whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah, the once proud pirate crew is now just riding rubber duckies. I think honestly on its own is good, not great, and I don't think would make a deck. And unless there needs to be a real payoff for the go wide. There needs to be a very powerful, like maybe there's a 2 or 3 mana like card that just sits on the board and makes all your pirates attack for 2 more, gives them all like a +2 bonus when they enter. And then you're like, oh, look, I know how to win the game. I use Dangerous Cliffside and a weapon. So yeah, if that exists, this is good. There's a deck. If it doesn't exist, this is slow, and it's good, but it's not great. So it's not going to support a deck on its own. I'll take the optimist road. I'll say this is good, that there's a pirate deck and this is supported. So I'll go with that. You got
lucky. You went the optimistic here. Fortunately for you, this card on its own is actually just fine, right? It's not bad. Like if you compare it to Fireball. Fireball's 4 mana, deal 6. This is 4 mana, deal 6 over potentially multiple turns. Depending on what weapon you have, there is a chance you can attack multiple times. And then you also get the minions on board that also get to go face immediately, which is like fine. Demon Hunter can run 2 of these. It's a good way of actually getting extra damage in the late game as you continue going. But the pirate synergy is where this starts to really shine. And this is where this card becomes from good to pretty great, if your board is set up for it. There are 2 cards here that I'm going to show you that probably make this a lot better. If you don't have a weapon and this is on board, this card is infinitely better, or this card makes that location infinitely better.
Aha, here we go. Two for a 2/2 after a friendly pirate attacks. Give your hero +1 attack. I didn't think about that, but yeah, still really good.
So that way, if you don't have a weapon, you can attack again, and then you're actually getting quite a bit of damage, even though you're theoretically, if you only get the 2 pirates on the location, plus this one, you're only doing 3, but at least you're getting more damage. There's also this one.
Is the motorcycle mount in World of Warcraft like ultra premium? I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
Okay,
I
just
couldn't
checking,
even.
just
Let
checking.
me check.
Hosen Roughhouser. Whenever another friendly pirate attacks, give it +1/+1. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Shit, there actually is a motorcycle mount. in World of
There
Warcraft.
is? I just threw that. I had no idea. I was being sarcastic, which I'm sure you've never heard me before.
There's the Fell Cycle and the Blaze Cycle. And it was for World of Warcraft's 20th anniversary?
The comments must have been popping.
Holy shit.
Nightcloak Sanctum is 3 for 3 durability. Freeze a minion, summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton. Ooh. Well, I like freezing minions. I've decided that's really good. So shut a thing of theirs down for a turn cycle. You get to do this every other turn. And you get something as well. What would make this bad? I guess if everything was small and they went wide against a Zerg rush, is this good? You still get the 2/2 to fight them. I think it's okay against Zerg. So going wide, not bad. If everything has value, well, it's just how I think of it now. Is like, see, I played StarCraft when it was new, and Zerg rush is how I think of everything that just always beat me down in Magic for the longest time too.
Okay.
So now that it's actually in StarCraft, I feel fully justified in saying being Zerg rushed.
Fair enough. Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, against a rush, this is pretty good, I think. And against a go big deck, this is great. And against something with awesome battle cries, I guess that's where this isn't great. And against something with death rattles, this is great. I'll go with this as a very good card. I think you would want to play this in a lot of decks. I mean, anything that wants to get into the mid and late game, I think this is a solid location.
Watch this card's awful.
Shit.
I'm kidding.
I was doing so good.
It was broken. I'm sorry.
Oh, you see, you've been hanging out with Simo too much.
I know. Everything you just said is entirely accurate. This card was released, and kind of the same way the Death Knight location was, this was filling that same void for Mage. It turns out if you got to freeze a minion for 3 times for 3 mana, that is a little bit broken, just a tad. On top of that, you could run 2 of these locations, which is just a little broken. And then you also, like you said, got the skeletons, which did a surprising amount of work on board if you really needed them to. Really good card, like really good card. Obviously, as you could probably predict, they nerfed it. They made it 3 mana for 2 durability, and even at that point, it felt really, really good.
Dude, I didn't even read Volatile Skeleton as a death rattle. What the fuck?
I did put it there.
I didn't even read this. what the hell are they?
Hey, they're perfect. They're perfect. They do a good job.
I thought they were vanilla. I thought they were just 2-0 burgers.
Yeah, they're really
kidding?
Good. It was a very good, like, it's one of the most overloaded cards I've ever seen at 3 mana. Like, just like it's actually a really good comparison to the Death Knight location. Just really, really powerful. I have one more location for you.
Okay.
I may not show you this before, but I don't remember if I did, so I'm going to show you anyways.
Prison of Yogg-saron. The art looks familiar, I'm going to be honest.
That's fine. I literally don't remember if I've shown you this or not.
I don't remember if I said anything about it. All right. 7 mana for 3 durability. Choose a character, cast 4 random spells targeting it if possible. Okay, yeah, I don't know what. I don't think I've read this. Okay. Choose a character?
A character.
What's that mean?
So characters mean anything that you can actually target, which is hero as well. So there's a lot of use cases for this, and I'm going to see if you can figure out what those use cases are. But you can target your hero, you could target the enemy hero, you could target anything on board that's an actual creature.
So what's awkward is it says targeting it if possible. So if you choose the opponent's face and it casts 4 spells that only apply to minions, does nothing happen?
No. So if I cast Fireball's like the best example. I don't know why I keep bringing it up. If I cast Fireball and I pick my opponent's face, the Fireball is guaranteed to go to the opponent's face. If it casts Flame Strike, it can't target the opponent's face, so it just does the flame strike. Like,
And
it's not.
what does the flame strike do?
Flame strike is 7 mana, deal 5 damage to your opponent's board. So
Okay,
because
so
that
would
doesn't
still
target.
happen.
Yeah,
It would
because
still
it doesn't
resolve.
target, it just resolves itself and then moves on to the next spell.
Interesting.
know why.
So instead of cast 4 spells at random, the idea is that choosing a character gives you some control about what a like negative or positive would hit if you got
Yeah,
it.
so
Okay.
I'll give you like kind of one of the more interesting ones. Let's say you're really low on HP, okay? You have no healing in your deck. You could take the Gambit, target at your face, and hope that Yogg heals you, because that's the target it's going to hit. Now, of course, if you cast like Fireball at you, you're taking the 6, but maybe you get lucky.
Dude,
and
this
maybe
is this card is so you. Just, oh my gosh, let's see if we can.
Disneyland?
We just high roll. We just hit these 4 spells at random that deal exactly 30 damage and we win. We go for it every time.
it's like Disneyland, man. It's like Disneyland.
Oh no. Oh no. I see why you like this.
Maybe this
Okay.
is why Hearthstone speaks to me, because I try to be so optimistic with plays. I've been content driven for like 11 years and I wasn't even a content creator. I just like the fact randomness exists in this game.
Yep.
It all makes sense.
Totally RNG pilled this guy. But is it good? Like, how often do you get what you want? It does seem like the opponent has a big old meatball and you fire these things at it. When it says targeting it if possible, does that get around elusive?
That is a great question. I want to say yes, but
That's
let me
sick.
like that's another interaction of like, if I cast a spell, it would obviously I can't target the elusive minion. Yogg, I believe, can target the elusive minion, but I'm actually not. Let me look it up. I don't want to get you wrong.
Sure.
I like how you're going to the real edge cases here. Like it is.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
good. This
digging.
is going to determine.
I got my shovel out. I am digging on this one. There's got to be a hint. How about the amount of things we don't know about this tells me how little it's played, therefore it's bad.
I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna answer the last question.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with elusive. That I think it does, but don't quote me on that. And I also think for the evaluation here, it's basically irrelevant.
It's okay. Everybody in chat knows.
I'll get
in
the comments.
They know.
I'll get the comments.
They're already telling us. It's already lighting up. Dude, 4 random spells. This is another content card. I am imagining if there are other Yogg effects, and I remember Yogg is like when you okay. I believe Yogg says something like recast every spell that was cast in the game. That would cast these again if there was a Yogg or a Yogg equivalent.
No.
No?
First and foremost, there's no Yogg that says that. Second of all, no, because again, you're with. The wording.
Are they being cast? It says cast.
Okay,
If a card says cast every spell that was cast this game,
if the wording
this was cast.
okay, hold on. If the wording specifically said cast every spell that was cast this game, I don't think Prison of Yogg-Saron is being included in that. Because it would only
That's in the card.
it would only look at what players have cast. There's also not a Yogg that does that. The first Yogg says cast a random spell for every number of spells cast this game.
Okay, yeah, fair. So if a card said cast every spell that was cast this game, this thing that says cast 4 random spells would it be included?
That got me curious. I wonder how good that card would be. Like if it was 10 mana and it was like Shutterwalk equivalent, like casting. Actually, I'm fucking wrong. There is a card that does that. But again, it doesn't look at Yogg.
Oh my god. I can't with your game, man. What is this? Is there just somebody on Twitter telling you what they think the cards do? Is that your rules engine?
No.
What is
Okay,
this?
hold on.
Okay.
There's this card. There's this card. But it says you've cast this game specifically.
It does. That makes sense, kind of, from what you're telling me.
What the imaginary card that you're pulling out? I don't know if I couldn't tell you if it interacts with it. I'm going to assume based on what I understand this game, it wouldn't. But I mean, maybe like maybe they just make a new rule, right? Sometimes they change things up.
This is the prison of Covert Go Blue, not the prison of yogg-saron. This is a nightmare. This is such a nightmare.
You're not having fun. Look at him. Look how cool this card is.
I don't know, dude. 4 spells is great, but it could go so wrong. You could hit it with buff, damage that doesn't kill it, buff. you know, if it's thinking.
Oh
of
yeah.
opponent's
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. This card could do nothing for you for sure. No, I'm not saying that.
Okay. So how about this?
Okay.
How about if we have a minion and it says every time you target this minion with a spell, you get bonus. How about that? Does that count?
Every time you target this with a spell. God, again, like maybe.
Okay, nobody understands this card, which means nobody plays it.
No,
Trash.
it's no. Stop. Don't read into it like that. Don't read into that. You're asking such niche things that I'm gonna have to remember from playing this card from so long ago at this point. And then on top of that, remembering a moment where it's like it casts this very specific minion that says when you target this with a spell. No, but it wouldn't make sense because
a bunch of those in Magic.
No. Because in Hearthstone, the wording would always be when you target this or when anyone targets this with a spell. When this is targeted with a spell, no, hold on, maybe you're right though. When this is
you're telling me you don't just print Nadu in your game, like
no, we do not. We have standards. Whenever I don't. Stop going to these edge cases. I don't know.
Okay,
I answer that question. I don't know.
Wait. You did say something helpful there. I got you talking. I'm getting info. How long ago was this made?
This was Titans. So 2 years ago, 2023.
You said so long ago.
Dude, it's been so long. Are you insane?
I was like, Jesus, if this was 2014, then casting 4 spells for 7 would be awesome. But
yeah, but then I have to think about what spells were in the game. And then I got to think about what minions were in the game. And then I got to think about, was there ever a moment where that minion and therefore those spells interacted with one another?
Guys, streamer's life is so hard. It's so hard having a job of a streamer. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I obviously don't know how this card works. Every time there's something expensive that does random stuff, I don't feel like it really does it. I mean, I guess you could cast you could cast Nebula with this, right? It's random.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. You could cast Nebula. You could.
This is a content card for sure. I'm going to say, dude, if there's a niche that somehow makes this good, I'm going to enjoy hearing about it. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, this card is not good.
Okay.
It's a meme or streamer card.
After every question you ask me, you go all the way through and say no. Yep. How dare you, first and foremost. Second of all, this is actually a really nuanced card because when this card was released, the spell pool for it wasn't fantastic. This is almost like 7 mana. You get 3 attempts to win the game, like get out of jail free cards, right? Because you're not probably going to cast this when you're far ahead. You maybe would cast this if you desperately are looking for lethal because you know the game's over next turn. Like that's when you would use it. But during the Year of Titans, it kind of didn't really do a lot. The spell pool was really bad. When the expansions rotated and we only had 4 expansions in the game, this card's stonks went way up. This card was actually pretty good. Like it got way, like people would play this card just because of how good the average spell was in the game. And that's where Yogg really shined. There was like a moment where it was like maybe one of the better cards in the game. As more cards were added in, it gets less consistent, and then therefore it kind of sucks. The problem is, and this is the fundamental difference between Yogg, the original Yogg, and this one only gets 4. Yogg gets probably like 20. And I'd rather have a get out of jail free card where it just goes to absolute like insanity with 20 spells than just 4 random spells. Has this card won people games? Yes. Can it win the game for you on the spot? Absolutely it could. There is moments where this card would destroy a game. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to give you I'm going to edge it towards your case is what I should say. This card was probably more worse than it was better in the average metagame.
Yeah, I did a lot of careful analysis. I don't know if you can
seems like you did. I think you were taking notes.
I really worked my way.
Can you go to
to
section 2, subsection 3B and tell me what we were talking about?
No, I have no idea what you were talking about. 99.9% of that. Oh my God. Yeah, this is the prison of CGB. Let's get the fuck out of it.
That's locations. I love them.
I like locations. Locations are cool.
No, they're actually good mechanic. Really good mechanic. Really good mechanic. They did a good job. Okay.